4 in the center, huh?
You keep looking at that, I'm gonna go label
The
mine.
stars, let's look at the stars now, okay? Let me do a general description. Can you draw the star pattern?
Okay. And it's a circle.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
3, okay, take that. Three on the bottom,
Because we have different fabrics for the stars, so. And there are,
Got
the dots are
So,
alternate,
let's, since we're not
and
gonna
there are
reframe it.
1, 2, 3,
we could
4,
reframe it, right?
5
All right, but we couldn't
Five.
reframe it
per inch.
today. And we can't reframe
By-
it, say, within the next couple of weeks, so this should
5.
really
So
just go
there
back
are
to
25 dots
you
in a
do the
square inch.
repair, and then we'll plan on reframing it. Either we'll do it or we'll send it out, but at that time, we'll make the decision about removing it from the backing and take our photographs down.
And the star dimension, do you have all the dimensions on this, Jim? Do I have to do star dimensions, or are you all good?
I have, my dimensions on this leg, yes.
Okay, good, all right. So, this star is sewn on with,
Put it back in its front, yeah.
So we don't know when we're gonna get to it.
Right.
let's see,
All right, so, now, take her advice on thread, or I'm not sure. what-
it's sewn on with running
technique it is.
stitches.
I trust,
You wanna sit over here and listen?
so,
I think it's a 3-ply, I'm gonna put it under the microscope, okay?
You got it, you just saw it, did you return the rabbit your file?
No, actually.
Yes, I got it,
You did?
Okay, good.
we're good.
Is this in the, if you didn't do it, I asked, you didn't do the staple.
I did this was the only one that was stapled.
Right. Which one was that, this one?
Yes.
Okay, good, okay.
And
So
I-
you checked each page to pick up any
Yes.
highlights, okay?
Every single.
And we could have, like, what you're finding on these 13 makes sense from what's on.
it's consistent.
Yeah, you make all the references. I mean, the stuff that they were using to make flags with was pretty straightforward.
And there are only 2 stars, John,
Thread and some
of this fabric.
woven
that one.
This one and this one have the same fabric,
Okay.
and everything else is a different resist, so I'll do another one now, okay? But you label
I got
1
two,
and
okay.
3, or whatever you
I
wanna
got
call it.
arrows going that
Okay,
way, too.
okay, good. So now I'm moving to this star,
Okay.
Can I talk to you a second?
and what's interesting is the stars have a center, I better go back to this one for a minute. The stars have a center tie.
Oh, kind of like quilting.
Yeah, quite, kind of like quilting, and it's tied through,
We have two.
and it looks like the same thread as the, as what was used to sew it around. How many?
That's what we've just concluded. It's not
Supports
to
it or
tell you
not.
certain things until later.
Right, I don't want to know. My ears are closed.
Okay. You need to come over.
I already talked to her
You
about
did?
this. Yep. I asked her if I could do that, and I showed her. My question was whether the tie
yes.
was tied through, and the answer is no.
Turn it out like a quilt.
No. So that must have been just simply to hold it in place.
Can I
Yeah.
get a shot of one of those stars underneath?
Can we wait till we flip it over?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so I'm moving on to this star. This is also a blue resist, but it is a different blue resist, and it has a little cross. And the crosses are somewhat inconsistent.
Where did you send it? I can.
And let me do a count.
With your notes.
Okay, it came through, Jim. got the name of the guy with the apartment across the street.
Oh, Grant.
So, but the fax is at the office, so when you go back, you need to.
61.
61?
Mm-hmm, by
Okay.
56, 57, 58, 59. And it has, in a square inch, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 and a half crosses.
Okay, Charlie.
Yeah.
This, 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 and this are all the same material. These are the only two different ones on this side.
Okay. And those are the 25 per
Yep.
inch.
Spots, they're dots as opposed to crosses.
And dots.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Ben.
What is that?
Of reinforcement here and a lot of strange,
And there's 11 of the others, right?
yep.
11 stars.
Anybody notice where I lost my paper or I keep misplacing it?
What does it look like, a little tiny
It's just a
tablet?
little pad and a file folder. That's okay. I think I took it to the
Okay.
house.
Okay.
Erase it.
Curiouser.
Yeah, it's bigger, ain't it?
Is it Alice would say? I'm kidding.
Nope, you're right. That's exactly
So
right.
we have the fabric that was the
What's going on?
well, this fabric lost its color almost completely. It's the same fabric as on the front, but it's
Oh,
lost
the light,
its,
the one that's really, yeah.
it's lost its color
You know,
almost entirely.
until I saw this flag,
Yeah.
we used to make it with a light blue star. In other words, we reproduced this flag for sale.
Uh-huh.
We went out and bought a matching calico, and we made one light blue star.
Okay. Can we not call it calico?
Okay, well, that's what I used to make the
Okay,
reproduction.
oh, okay. Well, okay.
Oh, you reproduced it?
Yeah, we used to sell it in the store, and that was the closest thing I could find. It was commercially available that I could afford to resell. Short of,
Well, no, it's just the term is really
Misused?
difficult. Well, it's difficult to, it means many different things at different times. This is a particular type of fabric called resist, so that at least lets us understand how, the process by which we get blue ground and white stars or white designs. And that, so if we describe it as resist, then we all know what we're talking about.
That woven? That's woven,
It's
isn't it?
printed.
Huh?
It's
I
wo-
mean, it did that. We had more reproduction historic flags than anybody else.
Well, that's just because you're so smart.
Pardon?
That's just because you're so smart.
Say again?
That's
You're
just
so
'cause
smart.
You're so smart.
Well, thank you.
one on the other side, but the rest of these stars are of a piece, okay? So these, it's not cut away, there's stars on both sides. Okay, so I'm gonna look at,
So this is flip side.
this is the flip side, and I'm gonna look at this one just because it's close to me. And here, back to the Canton, or do you need more time?
Maybe.
So on this side, the fabric of the canton got folded over, and this is the selvage, and it's sewn down, and it's sewn with, first of all, the selvage, Johnny, is 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs of 4 pairs of threads to make the selvage. And I'm going to see what it's sewn with. I'm going to look at the, what else I should look at here? This is such a mess. So there's been some significant re-sewing on this flag. The flag has lots of repairs and lots of problems. But right here, there's some original sewing from the
Canton,
first
stripe.
canton to the top stripe, which is a white stripe. And I'm gonna take a look at that. And I'm gonna give you an end and pick count.
Rabbit, if you see anything that's unusual that we haven't seen, I'd like to see it.
Okay.
Have you seen this? This is
I
unusual.
really haven't seen it. I've seen it, but this other person looked at it, I didn't see the examination.
Is singles cotton. And it is irregular, and it is Z-spun. But I want to put a little bit more of it under the microscope. I'd stop losing my.
Overwhelmingly handmade.
It's got irregularities.
Pardon me?
It's got some irregularities.
No kidding.
So there are 3 different resists used for the stars. 2 on the side and 2 on the other side, except one is the same as this one. It's
So
beautiful.
there's really 3.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what-
See?
How do you identify that fabric?
It's resist, blue resist. That's how you identify it.
Right. What are the
It's woven, and then it's printed with a resist material, either wax or a paste chemical, and then it's dyed with indigo, and then the wax, which resists the dye, is taken off and leaves the white areas.
That's how they blocked out the.
Yeah, so it's block printed or roller printed with the resist material, whatever that resist material is, whether it's wax or paste. Then the cloth is all dyed indigo, and then you strip off the wax, and where you had the wax, you didn't get any blue dye, so it's white again.
Was the original cloth white?
Yes, original cloth is always white, yes,
Okay.
yeah. Printed
And is
printed
that
cloth is always white.
Canton cotton or? is
Yes, the canton is cotton, and the selvage for it is here. Was brought over the top. And this is, I'm pretty sure, going to be cotton, but things are seldom what they seem. It's not uncommon to find cotton and linen in the same piece. So I'm going to take, this is One Direction. Come here. Thank you. I just want to make sure that it really is all cotton.
Okay, you told me it was cotton.
Right, but now I'm going to double check.
They use this fabric.
This is used as a clothing fabric.
I mean, is that it, or wall coverings or anything like that? Just strictly
It- Because resist is,
everyday wear?
no, cheaper than everyday wear. I mean, yes, this is the lowest quality,
Slaves
yeah, possibly,
or poor people?
yeah, because it's one-sided,
Ah,
okay?
so if we got that star and turned it over, it would be blank on that side?
You would have blue,
Wax.
but you wouldn't have any dots.
Interesting.
You may use a printing black or something? Printing black.
printing block or a cylinder.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you called that a roll printing, didn't you? A roll print.
Roller print or cylinder
Roller print.
print resist, yeah. And you could make a case for looking at how regular the dots are to know whether it was block or roller, if in fact you had enough of it in a piece to be able to do that kind of examination. And there's a woman named Susan Green who spends her time doing exactly that. The way in which the edges of the reveals are really in, see if I can show you on the other side, because the other side's even clearer. The edges are very fuzzy. There's a little bit of bleed through from the blue onto the
Oh, yeah,
white.
yeah.
Okay?
Mhm.
And that happens with resist, as opposed to if you were doing it the other way, where you had printed blue on it, which you couldn't do. There's wonderful examples of 18th century resist fabric.
That's beautiful. There's a star, you wanna see that, Jim?
Yeah.
Oh, here.
Yeah, right
Okay.
See, go to the white one. and you'll see
Do you have your filming?
Yes.
So check out this one, because it's real easy to pick out what your mounting thread is. But two, then you're not in any way influencing
What's there?
what's there. But that's just
So she has dyed thread here.
right, because you didn't want your stitching to show you were exhibiting this,
But
right?
you're saying it's okay, maybe position the stitch in another place?
Or,
just let it
or,
show?
no, I mean, if you're doing it for exhibit purposes, it's one thing. If you're doing it for storage, it's
Oh, I
another
see.
thing. So if you ever have the opportunity to
Take that out.
take it off and do something else, that's a possibility too. But if you're gonna keep exhibiting it, then that's, I can understand why you want to have that thread in there.
Jim, you're keeping track of rabbits, suggestions and things like on this take off.
Single ply,
Cotton?
nope. 40 by
Do you think over the years, if we could preserve these textiles in the next 150 years, then this writing, this ink writing that Manstai is doing,
a textile historian, and her field is chemistry, so she's worked a lot with reversing metallic salts and things like that, so it's a good question for her. I can email her. Cotton, 3-ply sewing cotton.
3-ply,
So, and it's plied,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna put that under the microscope.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool, very hard. Because if I'm weaving silk by hand, which is really tough to hold a selvage in, I put on a cotton selvage to support the silk. And you don't see it in flag bunting. What you see in flag bunting is those pairs of worsteds to give it strength.
like that, right?
And you rarely see 2-ply cotton used. So this is very unusual.
You've identified 2-ply cotton.
Yes, that
You
is
think
2.
that's the original construction?
Oh, yeah, it has to be. You don't have any choice. There's no way it can be different.
But how many other threads have you detected yet or seen? Is that the main one? I know it's the main one, but,
With the red is worsted.
no, I didn't mean the fabric, I mean the thread.
Sewing thread,
How many different?
just 3-ply. It's 3-ply sewing cotton dyed blue.
Oh,
For
when
the
you said
stars.
2-ply, you were talking about the material.
The selvage. I'm talking
Selvage.
about the selvage of the worsted red stripe.
The work goes one direction, makes sure the last two
I
red
got
and
it.
then white instead of red.
and cotton instead of worsted.
Well, I told you earlier that someone else had seen it. It's actually two other people have seen it, and the second person that saw it missed the two-ply. The first person caught the two-ply. What I thought by reading that report was that the two-ply was hiding, and it was hard to find, but you
A
just,
white, a red, a white, white, white. For the selvage on this side is different from the selvage on that side. You want me to draw it?
You can draw it, or the other one's a two times two-ply.
Right. And the other one is,
A two-ply white cotton times two, plus some worsted.
I'll give it to you. From the edge of the cloth.
Well, we're just doing that second stripe right now, and you want me to jump down to the fourth for the second one?
The majority of the sewing is this kind of sewing, which also makes perfect sense for the period. So it's hard to know, though, whether this is period. This I'm sure is. This I'm not 100% sure. And the sewing thread isn't necessarily helping me out here.
Quilters did it.
Well, you know, that could very well be.
Club.
Yep. And certainly it could be two different styles of sewing on the same flag. I mean, I don't have any problem with that. But there are two very vastly different styles. So, you know, somebody who's a sewing expert could probably track it and figure it out better than I can.
You okay?
There's one spot on this that I really want to look at, and what I want to do is either roll it up or rotate it, but I want to look at this edge down here.
Okay.
So whatever you think is going to be is it better for me to sort of,
You want to see this?
I want to see this edge, yeah.
So what the easiest and best thing for us to do is to take the corner.
Which that's two reds and then four whites.
it's a little thicker, isn't it, than the other one?
Well, there are two different selvages, one from each side of the cloth, and yep, that's different. But what's going on here? Is there a patch under here? Am I seeing?
Yeah,
gonna-
there's probably
okay,
a patch.
okay.
You can cut it.
No.
We did this. We put.
Oh,
the,
oh,
I,
good,
I
okay.
put the mesh.
Oh, great,
Or we
good,
did, or whoever
great,
did.
good,
It
good,
doesn't
good.
look like my sewing, so I think I probably had the way into the sewing, but.
But there's all sorts of weird, so many different remakes of this.
Yeah, kind of crazy. Really. There's a lot going on here.
There sure is.
You're like, ah.
Um,
If you wanna, do you wanna? Okay.
But I think, I mean, I think I've seen enough of it to be able to make some, you know, the things that are super interesting about it is the resist stars. I mean, that's wonderful to see.
Resist. What does that mean?
That
I
the
know we've
fabric
spoken
was
about
woven
that.
white,
The fabric was woven white.
and then it was stamped or went through a roller that had either wax or resist paste, and then it was dyed with indigo, the whole fabric, and then the resist paste was stripped off of it, revealing the white designs. Okay, that's what resist means. So that's wonderful. The fact that there's this cotton selvage on the worsted cloth is also pretty wonderful. And that the fabric of the canton and the fabric in the rest of the white stripes seems to be the same fabric.
That's good.
And there are two other fabrics here to sort of think about. One is the fabric of the hoist, and the other is the fabric with the name on it. So I want to look at the hoist a little bit. Patches on this, too.
In your research, did you find out who these guys were?
that's the general who stopped tickets charge. He won the presidential vote, but lost the electoral college.
Huh?
Sound familiar?
Do you ever dye Easter eggs like that?
Yes, yes.
We used to do that a lot. Now I just paint them.
So when did he run? When?
I am.
When did he run?
Sure.
When did he run?
I think it's 1882, let's see, 1880. He got beat by Harrison.
Oh, okay.
Does that sound right?
Yes.
So what are the chances that, seeing as this is machine sewn on there, that it was an addition to a much earlier flag?
Highly likely.
Because there is,
Either that or practical time travel.
Well, what's going on here? What's going on here over here? Because they tried to create a header,
yeah,
and so they tried to put it underneath.
You kind of curved it out.
they carved it around the
Carved it
starved.
around the stars
Right.
because they didn't have
Homemade.
enough information.
This is
Right.
a vernacular flag.
Oh, definitely vernacular flag. But my question is, and this is so, first of all, it's white canton blue stars. Okay, so that's the opposite of what we normally think.
And a
But-
white stripe beginning.
Right stripe, okay, white stripe beginning. So it doesn't fit our normal idea of what a 13-star flag should look like, 13-star, 13-stripe flag should look like. The fabrics are early. That resist is pretty early fabric. It's low end in pick count. It's not particularly well done, and people have been doing that kind of resist as cheap India cloth in the 18th century without any problem. The cotton selvage on the red bunting is really interesting. It makes me think that whoever wove that fabric was not practiced. They weren't bunting makers. They were weavers who were weaving something that they weren't used to and had to figure out a way to
Salvage it.
make it work.
On the second and eighth stripes, those,
Well, and here on the,
and it's down there too.
right, we
And
see
then
it
the rest could have
1,
been cut off in
2,
the center of the.
3. We see it in 3 places.
So 2, 8, and 12 stripes from the top.
Have selvage
Have selvage.
and have 2 different selvages.
Right.
Yeah,
And so they're. one
that's
is the-
normal.
Right, but you said the one was white, red, white, white, white,
Yeah,
and then the other one was
red,
red,
white, white,
white,
white.
white, white.
Yeah, yeah, but that's I mean, that's
Yeah.
sort of typical.
And that's a 2-ply cotton.
Yeah, there is 2-ply cotton, but it's hand done.
Right.
There's no question that
And the-
fabric is handmade,
And the cotton was,
hand done.
the sewing thread is,
3-ply
3-ply
sewing cotton.
cotton.
Right,
and the material of this is
it's
hand
cotton, hand spun,
spun,
hand
hand
woven
loomed,
cotton.
hand woven,
Cotton,
hand
yeah,
woven,
Yeah, yeah.
cotton.
Yep, yep. So the fabrics are early. Whether whether the flag was put together early or not, who knows? But certainly this edition of Hancock in English is post-Civil War. So do you have an earlier flag, or do you just have earlier fabrics that were put together? It's a piece of folk art.
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah,
And
sure.
I think at this point, I would make a recommendation that we leave this flag for tomorrow on the second floor, and I will give you a report from me,
Yeah,
and that way it'll help you go through this, and you basically, whatever you choose, go for it, leave the report's up to you.
okay, that'd give me some direction on where else to look.
That's what you need to
Yeah.
save time
Yeah.
and get to the bottom of it.
Right.
because also have a second report, which is the first report of this file. Don't know.
It would mean, and this is mine, here's a salvage
Mm-hmm. That's the first one you've seen, isn't it?
on the white. No, the
It's not, no.
Canton has a salvage.
It's turned over on the other side though and
Right.
sold.
Understood.
I'm trying to more or less get there. We have dinner prepared too for you, so.
Oh, good.
Whenever
Okay.
you wanna eat, if this is a good time, you might feel better in an hour from now. And we really are, want, would a cotton flag fit here?
No, wait, you mean the big cotton will fit,
The cotton one, not the Fortress Monroe.
yes. I need
Then we
69,
might as well, but that may be very challenging or fun, I just don't know. That's a pure cotton 13-star flag.
Oh, cool.
Family. And he lived there as a dentist, and he got the flag out of a bazaar, and it was a 25-star. 25-star, right, Jim?
Ledyard,
Yeah,
25.
25. And it was only 40, 50 years old maybe by that time. He got it in the 1870s or whatever. And then he uses it for 3 or 4 years on his yacht to go around every 4th of July in Constantinople and the Straits there. And then he brought it home, stayed in the family forever until I just got it 2 years ago.
Oh, neat.
So